welcome to Retro Rewind, where we talk about classic video games and see where they've been and where they are today. My name's Karen Blinton, and today we'll be talking about Digimon. So this series gets a lot of pushback for supposedly ripping off Pokemon, but in reality it has more differences than similarities, but we'll get back to that in a bit. For now, let's stick with the history of Digimon. In 1997, Digimon was created to be the male counterpart of Tamagotchi. The screens were only 16 by 16 pixels, so they had to create them in such a unique way that they would be easily recognized when they appeared on screen. Now, most people recognize Agumon, and many would assume he to be the first Digimon, but in reality, it was Tyrannomon. Weird. But he does have a very basic design, looking like a dinosaur with nothing grand about him. When he would fight, he shot fireballs at the enemy. With every fight won, the Digimon got stronger and stronger, eventually changing, or digivolving. That was the basic concept of the game. In 1998, they updated these Digivices with more pixels, more Digi-eggs to hatch new Digimon and Digivolutions. At one point, the Digimon would die and then reconstruct itself as a new Digi-egg, starting its life over again. Then, in 1999, we get the anime Digimon Adventures, starring 7 kids being transported to the digital world, finding their 7 Digimon partners, and trying to save the digital world and the real world. Now, even when this story was over, we got a new set of Digidestined appearing, getting advice from the old ones. This trend continued, with new series having new Digidestined, new Digimon as their partner, new concepts that link them together, and a new evil to fight. This series also spawned several movies, although only one was ever released in theaters in 2000, having several mini-movies in it, then ending with a significantly longer one. We also were treated to several mangas, none of which had to do with the animated series. Then, in the same year as the movie, the year 2000, we get the first Digimon game that wasn't on the handheld Digivices, Digimon World. In this game, the player takes care of a Digimon, raising it and trying to get it to its final form in the game, an Ultimate. But as the game goes on, your Digimon ages, dies, turns into a Digi-egg, and starts the process over again. But the player has new knowledge on how to quickly power up their Digimon. Eventually, the player can fight the final boss, Mega Machindramon, and save the digital world. We get a new and improved Digimon game in the form of Digimon World 2 in the year 2001. In this game, many of the mechanics were changed, going from having 1 Digimon to 3. The battles were also changed from a beat-em-up style to a Final Fantasy turn-based battle. Also, the Digimon no longer died from old age, just became exhausted and were unable to fight once they were defeated. In this game, the player was tasked to protect their village and destroy evil Digimon. Then, we come to my personal favorite of the Digimon World games, Digimon World 3 in the year 2002. Again, the game's mechanics were drastically changed, with the combat having a better feel to Pokemon, with it being a turn-based combat, the first strike going to the fastest Digimon, then the lead Digimon when it would be defeated, or the player decided to switch out, they tag in for another one that was on their team. In this game, the player can actually get every Digimon in the game by collecting the DNA of the base forms and then digivolving them into any Digimon as long as certain conditions were met. In this game, the player takes control of the protagonist, who plays the new Digimon video game entering the digital world. Once in, the exit gate is locked and he is unable to leave. The player must beat gyms and become stronger, taking on an evil organization and defeat a terrifyingly powerful Digimon that has the power to destroy the entire digital world and the real world. Why does this sound familiar? Anyways, we then get to the last numbered world game, and probably the worst, Digimon World 4 in 2005, where the player controls 3 Digimon, giving them weapons and fighting enemies, in another style change that honestly has no comparison, and I don't mean that in a good way. This game was thought to be the nail in the coffin for the Digimon franchise, but that was proven wrong in 2007 with Digimon Data Squad. In this game, the player was in charge of 3 Digicops that were tasked to send rogue Digimon back to the digital world. The game goes back to the combat style of Digimon World 2, having 3 characters on your team, speed determining the order of combat, and each character having their own unique powers. This game did keep the idea of certain conditions being met to unlock Digivolutions from Digimon World 3. This game was decent and was actually really enjoyable, but for some reason the game series went quiet again. That is, until Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth in 2016. This game is probably the best combination of everything the previous games had to offer. In this game, the player could capture any Digimon they wanted, digivolve them, fusion digivolve them, give them items, the 3-character combat style, and so much more. This game had a compelling story, great graphics, amazing gameplay, and a great ending that allowed for many more games to be created. And what do they do with it? They throw it all away in Digimon World Next Order in 2017, reverting to the original combat style with erratic combat, no options for diverging a path for Digivolution, and a terrible story. So, as you can all see, Digimon has had a wild ride, and yet people still call it a ripoff of Pokemon. But really, the only thing they have in common is that there are people and little monsters that can become big monsters. Everything else is different. In Digimon, the characters that get a Digimon are the chosen ones, while in Pokemon, any kid can have one. Digimon can talk and flow between their forms, while Pokemon can only say their name, and once they evolve, they're stuck like that forever. There are way too many differences to go over in one video, but you get my point. But what do you guys think? Does this series deserve to continue, or is it just a ripoff of Pokemon and deserves to die? Why don't you let me know on Twitter at ZTVGoofingOff, and don't forget to use the hashtag RetroRewind. And I'll see you guys on the Rewind.